driving. Oh, Kaprizov score! Byron Buxton, a cycle! Let's
go! What's up, everyone? Welcome in Twin City Sports Talk. We finally got just a snippet of news related to Vikings training camp. Obviously, big news coming out of today. The Vikings named their quarterback one for the regular season, Kyler Murray. And honestly, all of us kind of knew it was coming. It was pretty obvious. I mean, you sign a guy that was the first overall pick back in, now I'm completely forgetting, 2018, I think it was. First overall pick. And a guy who's had a pretty dang good NFL career. Yeah, a few clunker of years. Got replaced last year, kind of halfway through the year by Jacoby Brissett. You get him for $1 million, you're going to give him the job. And that's what Kevin O'Connell announced yesterday. So we got to talk a little bit about the whole overview of the season, how this is going to maybe affect the other side of the quarterback conversation. And I will be joined by Trevor sometime throughout this episode, so we can get to it then. But first off, we got to talk Aspire Services, our sponsor for today's video, and they have a promotional video that I'm going to share with you guys right now.
Is more than 15 years old. It's not a matter of if it fails, it's when. Water damage, higher energy bills, costly emergency repairs. Aspire Services is a local, father-son roofing company. And right now, we're giving Minnesota homeowners $1,000 off any new roof replacement. Backed by our Aspire Guarantee, a lifetime warranty, and a price match guarantee. Tap below to get your free inspection. The $1,000 offer is limited. Don't wait until it's an emergency.
All right, everyone. Aspire Services, just like you saw in the video. Big deal they have going on right now. $1,000 off your new roof with no catch, backed by what they call their Aspire lifetime warranty. Your roof gets damaged, people, all day, all night, all year round in Minnesota with the snow. A lot of thunderstorms in the summer. This year's been pretty good, but either way, your entire roof gets beat up. And this is a great deal to get you started. So $1,000 off goes a long way for something like this, but you got to make sure your roof is good if you want a roof over your head in the long run. So everyone go check out Aspire Services. Website is aspireservicesmn.com, and give them a call once you go to the website. You'll talk to Jake. Jake's a great dude, and tell him we sent you a Twin City Sports Talk when you're over there. All right, everyone. Kyler Murray is QB1. Just like I said, we all expected this. We all kind of knew it was coming. Actually coming off of a Hot Take Tuesday where Trevor made a pretty bold hot take, dependent on Kyler Murray being trade bait at the trade deadline, which is obviously still possible now that he is legitimately the QB1. I guess when Trevor joins, we'll get a little bit into that more, and kind of how we see, I guess, the first half of the season going. But the biggest question throughout it all is, how is JJ McCarthy going to be at practice? How is he going to be in game? And he's going to be involved with Kyler Murray? Is he going to be a good teammate, or is he going to be kind of a low energy teammate that is just kind of mad about the whole thing and he doesn't care to talk to Kyler, help him out? I don't see that happening. JJ seems to be a great dude. I know it's been a heated kind of quote-unquote quarterback battle in camp so far, but I don't see JJ being like that. But here's my deal, is I kind of talked about this, and if for any, so say Kyler gets hurt this year, JJ obviously will be going into the year as the backup. Kevin O'Connell also announced in his presser that both of these guys will be playing, obviously, this upcoming Saturday's game against the New York Giants in New York. We all knew that they would all be playing to the level or the amount of playing time either one will get. That was not disclosed by any means. And one other thing I got to talk about really quickly is it's going to be fun going into a preseason with quarterbacks that are very intriguing, because over the years, I mean, yeah, you had Kyle Slaughter, however you said his name, and you had a bunch of just kind of Jaron Hall, like the Jaron Halls of the world and Kellen Monds of the world back in Mike Zimmer's tenure. You had a bunch of these guys that you knew just weren't great by any means, but Carson Wentz, he's a veteran, and he's going to be probably getting a little bit of time in preseason, along with, I think, Max Brosmer, obviously, Gophers quarterback. Played a couple games last year, yeah. Yeah, that's up for another day, I guess. But he's going to be, I'm assuming, getting the second halves of every single game. Carson Wentz might not even play, for that matter. I don't remember if Carson played much last year in preseason. Actually, I think we signed Carson after a bunch of the training camp, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think we signed Wentz a couple days after training camp ended and kind of the preseason games are over, so that would make sense. But Max Brosser, I expect to have the third and fourth quarter pretty much every single day. As far as Kyler, JJ, now that Kyler's been announced the quarterback one, I really do think that Kyler will get possibly the entire first quarter in this first game. And then JJ would get the second. Realistically, I think Kyler will probably get 2 or 3 drives, and then they really want to see JJ prove that he can stay in competence, I guess, and be in the running to be that next man up in a situation. Obviously, Trevor's still high on JJ. I still am too. It's just it's a difficult situation with this. As we welcome Trevor in. And as I was just saying that, Trevor displays with his name exactly what I'm talking about. We both are very still in on JJ McCarthy. We got to make that very clear on this show specifically after
So we will be right over time.
Donald announces yesterday that Kyler's the quarterback going into the year. Here's my I know you kind of probably missed my initial reaction, Trev, is JJ. Well, first I'm gonna start with Kyler. Kyler Murray has obviously been just a middle of the pack quarterback throughout his whole career here. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been he was great the first year of DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona, where they started out 8-0, were one of the top seeds in the NFC. Obviously no playoff wins, I think, that year either way. But he played great that year when he had a few reliable weapons. But Kyler's just kind of been that mid-tier quarterback, a guy that no one could make fun of, but also you're not going to pound the table for Kyler Murray to be your quarterback by any means. And I think on this show, we haven't really talked about maybe the possibilities that are arising from this, because I don't really think Kyler will have the same year as a Sam Darnold did here in 2024, but I genuinely do think, and maybe Trevor and I are going to disagree on this, but I think Kyler is set to have a fantastic year, barring injuries, and that's obviously the main counter to that argument right there, is because with the weapons, Kyler has never even had close to the amount of weapons and the whole overall team as he does this year. And now that they did certify him as the QB1 going forward, he's going to get not the majority of snaps. JJ's still going to get a good amount of them, but now he's going to be on the first team offense in a lot of the practice. He's going to get that chemistry build up. Justin Jefferson, Jawan Jennings, Jordan Addison, best receiver trio, and Ty Felton has had a fantastic camp. Ty Felton has really struck out. So the offensive line being reformed, healthy, I think Kyler Murray will have a ton of success this year for the Vikings, and I think we're in for a fun year. And it's just the only reason to really solidify that is last year, and I'm not crapping on JJ, I'm not crapping on the quarterbacks in general, but you went 9-8, you missed out on the playoffs by one play, and you had the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL. That's no one can argue that. It was the worst quarterback play in the NFL, and you were one play away from the playoffs. The Vikings, Kyler Murray, maybe call it a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. Kyler will have a top 10 quarterback season this year. or somewhere near it, if he can stay healthy for the whole thing. We're in for a fun year, unless an injury happens. But then again, it's still going to be pretty fun, I think, because JJ would almost inevitably, hopefully, take a step up. And this is where really the topic of today gets in, because that's really the whole thing, is kind of what I was talking about before you joined, Trev, is how does JJ react to this? Or do the Vikings maybe even think about trading him? I don't think they do, but there's obviously that narrative in the entire national perspective.
Yeah. A lot there for the trade part of JJ McCarthy. The only way I see a JJ McCarthy trade happening before regular season week 1 against the Packers is if a unexpected injury, or well, every injury is unexpected. If an unexpected situation happens, like a season-ending injury or a long-term injury for a top team, so any team that has playoff hopes or even a chance at a Super Bowl, if their quarterback has a severe 2-season-ending injury, then that opens up that dialogue. But then that's the same dialogue that's been going on with Richardson with the Colts.
Yeah.
So there's no guarantee JJ McCarthy would be the one to be traded for. Some teams might take a flyer on Richardson with the Colts. But that's my trade thing. I think it's very low just because you have 2 years. You have this year, next year of his rookie salary, and then his deal's done after the 2027 season. So you still have 2 years of rookie salary, which is good. You've seen the upside, especially in the second half of the games, which is why I'm still very high on him, given the age, the success in college, how highly regarded multiple teams and scouts were in on him. To Bruce's point in yesterday's podcast, he would have been the #1 pick in the Cam Ward draft had he have stayed another year at Michigan. So there's still a lot of untapped potential that appears to be there. Yes, there's been ups and downs and struggles in training camp and what we've already seen, but that's the realistic expectation for most young quarterbacks. Whether you're a first rounder, third rounder, sixth, seventh rounder, undrafted guy, more times than not, it's going to be you need development before it clicks, and that's why I want to be very patient with them. I'm totally fine with getting Kyler Murray named as starter. That was fully expected. You signed him for $1.3 million. It would make no sense to do it the other way. If you start McCarthy and he struggles, yeah, then it's really hard to have any hope with JJ McCarthy long term. But if you start Murray, which we're going to now that that's official, Murray should do well, right? Barring an injury, because that's the only way where it won't seem like it'll click. So yes, I agree with you, Bruce, because there's too much talent. The coaching staff is there of KLC. You got Josh McCown and his experience as a long time NFL guy, player, and now a couple years as a coach. The offensive line, everything. There's everything when you compare to what
can't fail.
Yeah, what Murray had in
literally
Arizona compared to Minnesota, Minnesota is better in every single category. Unless he gets hurt, which to that point then, so I've quickly jotted down. So Kyler Murray's rookie year was 2019. So I wrote down every year, 19 till last year and 25 for games played early in his NFL career. He's been good. It's full season in 19, 20, 21. He missed 2 games. Real quick, do you know how many years it's been since we've had the extended regular season additional game?
3.
17.
We've had 3 seasons.
That's what I thought. So, because in year 3 for 2021, Murray played 14 out of 16 games. 22, so that's when it barely started, right? 14 out of 16,
Yeah.
Take that. But then
22 because we
2022,
went
11
14
games.
3. Yeah.
Sorry, what? Yep.
4,
So 11,
yeah, it was. Yeah.
11 games. 23 was 8 games. 2024, good. Played all 17. And then last year, the year where Jacoby Brissett then took over, he only played 5 last year. So in early success, he wasn't injury prone. But that's my concern. 22, 11 games, 23, 8 games, 24 was good. He played the full season 17. But in 2025, so 3 out of the last 4 years, he's missed time with injuries. And the last 2 of 3 years of the 23 and 25 year, it was 5 and 8 games. So you're talking about half a season out and then over a half a game in last year's season. So that's where I'm still having my faith in McCarthy because of given what I saw last year. This will give him time to, develop the playbook. To Bruce's point, he mentioned this in yesterday's podcast. The playbook shouldn't be an issue. Now it's just now performing and consistent good performances and stacking it, because this is a team that needs to win. We're not like a fringe playoff team. We're not building for the future. Winning is now. Like, we're ready to win now. So
Yep.
this is when expectations really need to kick in. It's year 3. Obviously,
Yeah.
missing all of your rookie year, all the physical reps. Yeah, that really stinks for him. But that's what happens. You got to live with it, and you got to move on. So I guess, yeah, to wrap up my point, if Murray misses some games, what does McCarthy do with that, and does he steal the job? Because that no take deal that Murray signed, I mean, great move. Or I mean, it's for him, it's perfect, right? Because then he'll get his long term deal, whether it's with the Vikings or whatever other team in NFL free agency signs him. But that
Yeah.
just really makes me hesitant. Of he's here to kind of revive, kind of reset his market. It's the
Mhm.
perfect team to join. Feed Jefferson, feed Addison for all the good reasons you have joining Minnesota. But that no take deal, I just think he'll never admit this. But I think in the back of his head, whether it's the cold weather, um, I'm blanking. I think he's a West Coast guy. Isn't he like a California, like his hometown?
I think
I
so,
could be
but
wrong, but whatever his pull is, I feel
yeah.
like there's something where long term he's
Wait a second. No,
hesitant.
he was Texas because
Was
he
he?
never lost a game in high school, and it was so impressive because it was Texas football too.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
that's my point. Warm
Either way.
weather
Yeah.
state,
Yeah.
no cold. So whether it's the cold factor, whatever,
Yeah.
we will see. It's
Now,
kind of
one
why.
thing, it's like the other side of it is if Kyler were to get hurt, it's not a long time thing. He gets hurt for 3 weeks. Say JJ comes in for 3 weeks and the Vikings go 2-1. JJ looks good. The Vikings have no incentive. They're not like invested on like they need to put Kyler in. It's not like you're paying the guy $40 million this year. You're paying him $1 million. If JJ's playing good, 3 games might be all it takes to just be like, okay, we will ride the JJ bus until it falls off this year.
And
They have no
especially because,
incentive to bring Kyler back in.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Because for the contract's sake too, which I
mhm,
don't think KOC and Viking staff would ever admit that. But in the back of their heads, if McCarthy does take that leap, then you would ride it because you still have that 2 years of him. And then if it does really well, then yeah, they're going to pick up that 5th year option too. So then you're arguing 3 years, list current year,
yeah.
next year's season, and then the 5th year salary, which isn't cheap by any means, but it's not like you're paying him 50 million like quarterbacks are getting paid nowadays.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, if Murray gets hurt and McCarthy runs with it, no matter how good Murray does, I think he's at real jeopardy then of losing that. But that's the only way. Because Murray, I fully expect he'll play well. This team's too good not to. So if he can stay healthy, then I have my doubts. Because then going into the offseason, he probably shipped McCarthy out for a day 3 pick. But that's a situation that we won't even need to worry about till how we see the season play out.
True. And I have to show this video real quick. This was of practice, obviously, from yesterday after he got named starter. And this is a wicked good throw. It's very quick. I'm only going to play it once too, by the way. But here's Kyler Murray right here. You can see this, Trev, right? On my
Yeah.
screen, it's showing that's not up there. Either way.
Yeah, we
He's
got it.
on the run. He's about to throw to an out route to Addison where he levels it. I didn't see who was in coverage here, but look at this throw right here. On the run, kind of side angle over Byron
Yeah.
Murphy, Addison, a good
Impressive.
20-yard out route. I mean, look at the delivery on that. Completely sideways, the body's all. This is the type of stuff you get to look forward to, Vikings fans, is the off-platform, out-of-system wizardry, really. And nothing on JJ, but like JJ, well, here's the thing. In college, JJ actually showed this ability quite a bit. Right now, he just looks way too uncomfortable just being out of the pocket. And like, I hate to go back to Tom Brady with it, with the 1 and 2 and 3 balls and stuff, but
That's
JJ,
a one ball.
when JJ's out of the pocket last year, that's where he's completely in his own mind, like not leveling a throw, not layering it over a safety in a cover 2 look or anything like that. That's the type of stuff that needs to start coming around for JJ because again, you got your playbook set. The playbook is completely good. You've had 3 years now. And again, he's been healthy for every training camp, 80% for his rookie year training camp. He's been getting reps every year. The playbook is there. All right. But you just need to get the little things, and we're going to start feeling good. That's when we start feeling good about it. When we can see the on-field product get itself going. But right now, I'm very happy with Kyler being starter because I still think there's a chance that JJ plays this year no matter what. And I guess we'll see when the time comes there. If there was one team JJ McCarthy would get traded to at this point, not even like trade deadline, but like before the season, I mean, just to get like a new reset. I'm not even talking for like, you make a good point. A team could fight for him for like if their quarterback gets injured, obviously. That's a huge, probably the most likely possibility. But if there was going to be one team to be like, here, come here, sit behind a guy and learn, it's the Chargers. You go back to Jim Harbaugh, who was your mentor through college, through and through. You'd run his offense, which you flourished in, and were projected to be the first overall pick in the Cam Ward draft if he stayed another year. That's the type of hype that Jim Harbaugh brought JJ McCarthy. I think he could really thrive in that system, just sitting behind Herbert and just learning from Harbaugh and everything too. And again, just like we saw with Darnold, just seeing new places, getting to know football minds differently in different organizations helped out Darnold. It helped out Baker Mayfield. It helped out, well, not Josh Allen. It just took Allen a while to get going on the Bills, but you see it all the time with these NFL quarterbacks. I think that would be maybe the one team that he could get traded to here.
And he's been very vocal, and it might be
Mhm.
more his agent telling him to say this, and or he might just be playing the respectful guy that he is and all that. But yeah, deep down, why would you not accept that a reset? You go to LA of all places, no more cold weather, living in Southern Cal. You reunite with the coach that you love, that you were super successful with college. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and then another thing too, I was just gonna rapid fire. Another reason why Kyler is only gonna flourish here, if he can stay healthy, and hopefully he can, is in the year 2020. Now it's 6 years ago. But given how well Darnold did, and I've got like I should almost screenshot it. I called it. I remember so many people mocking me when we signed Darnold, thinking like, "Oh, this is just I'm just signing quarterback. This won't be anything special." I was right on Darnold having a breakout year. Obviously, that happened. But I look at the 2020 year Kyler had, second year in the NFL. For passing stats alone, he had 26 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. But then you add on 11 rushing touchdowns. So in passing and rushing touchdowns alone, he had 37 touchdowns, passing and throwing, to only 12 interceptions. But then in more recent years, it's been iffy. So in the year he did play a full year 2 years ago in 24, he was 21 throwing to 11 picks. He did have a decent amount of 5 rushing touchdowns. But I mean, the rushing touchdowns hasn't been there a whole lot. Now he only played 5 games last year. That's one. He had 3 in 23, 3 in 2022. But just given how good this offense is, I'm really targeting expectations, and I kind of hope KOC and all the Viking staff kind of keep this high expectation. I hope they're kind of going off that 2020 year, right? The year he had the 26 throwing, and then 11 rushing, 12 interceptions. If he does anything like that, you combine that with Brian Flores' defense. You got Jefferson you're feeding. Addison, if he stops being if Addison can grow up, which so far credit to him,
It seems like he has.
Since his last incident, he's and hopefully that's his last. I mean, the tandem of those two alone, and then you add Javon Jennings. The tight end room is anything special, but it's not bad at the same time. It's just good. So I'm going off 2020 sets. That's kind of what I want to see from Kyler. Flirting right around 40, give or take, overall touchdowns of passing and throwing. If you can keep interceptions to 1 or less a game, I just don't see how you don't.
It's also really similar. That team had DeAndre Hopkins, and then that's when Rondale Moore made a huge jump in that Cardinals offense because Rondale, I think he got drafted in 2018, I think. He was working up the rankings either way. And by the way, rest in peace to Rondale. But that team was a lot like this team where it was unexpected, but they had the right pieces and it worked really well. And if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure that Cardinals offensive line also was not even like above average or anything. I think it was an average at best offensive line. I don't remember a Cardinals team since Carson Palmer was there slinging the rock that had like a good offensive line and like a household name that you can like pull out of your butt and say like this guy, oh, he's the generational left tackle of the Arizona Cardinals. I don't remember. I couldn't name one offensive lineman on that team now. I couldn't name one on their team for the past 10 years. I mean, seriously, like they have not had a big name. They haven't had a good offensive line. Too much stuff to where Kyler, it's bad if he doesn't fail. I mean, if he starts the whole year and goes around 500, kind of like last year with the Vikings, that's not setting him up for a nice payday at all because teams look at this. They're like, dude, I think everyone can consecutively easily say that this is the best wide receiver trio in the league. Undoubtedly. I don't think it's close. And so teams look at that and a 9-8 Kyler Murray record with a Brian Flores defense, Kevin O'Connell offense, a good offensive line, again, barring on health and everything too. But I don't know how that'll affect him big time in the market next offseason too. And maybe if the Vikings were to let go of JJ, and I don't know if I'd even want this if Kyler doesn't do good this year, but if Kyler's going to be a cheaper option, maybe the Vikings do sign him to like a 3-year deal or something, but that's going down a huge rabbit hole. But
I was gonna say, really, if Kyler, and I mean this is very extremely unlikely. If Kyler would be willing to sign what Baker did a couple years ago in the offseason, that 3-year $100 million or anything close to that for an AAV of 35-ish million per year over 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I'll do that then for sure. With his skill set, if he plays a full year or darn close to it, yeah, I'll do that in a heartbeat. But at the same time, if he's wanting top 10 money, so like unless he wins us the Super Bowl, I mean, because even if, which is kind of, it would be very successful given that KLC is still looking for that first playoff win. To say like we make it past wild card and divisional round, but then you get beat by 17-14, whatever it is, by say the Rams, right? Because the Rams are the NFC Championship. I'm just as risky and as stupid as it sounds. Bruce and I have said it numerous times. We're going to continue to say it. We are still okay giving up Darnold because the salary cap wasn't there. Quessy had no depth on the team because it was bust after bust after bust after bust for the 4 years Quessy drafted. Had Quessy drafted well, and you can then sacrifice losing a good player or two because you've got depth filling in the gap of the player losing. It's just either you would have signed Darnold and then you're really handicapped and you lose 4 or 5 guys on your team offensively, defensively, and it's just really hard to win the NFL when you don't have a complete team. Injuries are always going to happen now. Some teams get hit harder with injuries than not. But my point being, if Kyler's wanting top of the league money, given how good the rookie class is, and you would have one more year at the rookie scale contract for McCarthy for his final chance. If at that time McCarthy is still on the team, I would just take my chance with another rookie. You could sign another Sam Darnold situation, right? A guy to a 1 or 2 year deal, hold the work down, and then let McCarthy and that rookie draft selection then compete for playing time as well. I mean that's a problem, like we're saying. We'll see how this year plays out, but that's just kind of big picture thinking.
Yep. I am calling halftime. All right. Halftime in this episode. Announcement again. People, Aspire Services is sponsoring our Minnesota Vikings ticket giveaway. October 4th, week 4 game against the Miami Dolphins. People, go see Kyler Murray play in action. Hopefully he's not injured by then. Knock on wood there, I guess. But everyone, you subscribe to the Twin City Sports Talk YouTube channel. Go follow the Instagram, TikTok. comment a friend on one of those socials between Instagram and TikTok. And then for 3 extra entries, DM the Instagram Twin City Sports Talk account and say Vikings versus Dolphins. Again, Aspire Services is sponsoring this. Phone number 612-400. Now I'm completely forgetting it. What does it say here? 8874. There we go, people. Call Aspire for a roofing or siding need on your house. And then while you do it, go register to win 2 free tickets. You are 5 rows from the field, people. Stupid if you don't want to. But either way, let's keep this going. I want to go over maybe some expectations now. You were kind of hinting at it. You want Kyler floating around the 40 bomb range, where it doesn't matter if it's rushing or just 40 touchdowns in general. And now the only worry I have going into the year, I have one mini worry that I worry that it's gonna reflect KOC in a bad way, because Sam Darnold was slinging it, and then KOC just completely abandoned the run game at the really tail end of the year. And granted, our offensive line in 2024, the Darnold year, wasn't as good, I think, as it is this year going in with Donovan Jackson, maybe a 10-year starter at guard for you, Will Fries. But that is no excuse. You still need to run the football a little bit. It was like an 80-20 split percentage-wise between passing and throwing in the last couple weeks, and then leading into the playoffs. I remember vividly, it was either the Dolphins or Rams game in the playoffs. The Vikings had 1st and goal on the 7-yard line. They tried 3 throws into the end zone and had to settle for a field goal because they couldn't run the ball. This is football. You need to run the ball and to get some defenses to play up a little bit, and then you open up the pass game. It's you get one thing when you do another thing, you know?
Yeah, and that's only added pressure when it's 1st and goal on the 5 and you're passing it, right? You're just adding more pressure to quarterback, which was mostly McCarthy. Obviously, McCarthy missed times, and Brosmer actually playing a handful of games, or Carson Wentz or whatnot. But yeah, so just better overall, just basic knowledge of just.
But this is my worry, is if Kyler does play well, I need KOC to stay grounded with this.
Yeah, right.
And if Kyler is having a great season like Darnold, I need KOC to rein down a little bit, stay under wraps, and run the dang football with a workhorse in Jordan Mason. And I'm good with Aaron Jones sitting on the sideline. I'm thinking of Damon Claiborne. Give Claiborne some time. He's a burner. And that's 2-way right there. That is, he's not Jahmyr Gibbs, but he has Jahmyr Gibbs' speed, maybe even faster than Jahmyr Gibbs. And then David Montgomery and Jordan Mason are very comparable there.
Yeah, if Claiborne, I think that's excluding the obvious quarterback battle. So if you exclude quarterback, I think Claiborne might be the 2 that I can immediately. Well, there's 3. So the running back battle on the point you're making with Claiborne, V can have a very productive and good preseason. I was about to say spring training. Preseason, then that will remind me a lot if KLC is willing to do it. We go 3 running backs deep with, if I'm not mistaken, it was Cook, Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, Jerick McKinnon, because we haven't seen that 3 running back tandem where all 3 get playing time. Obviously, it's not going to be like split a third, but you're at least playing your 3rd running back more than like 2 snaps a game for offensive snaps, not excluding special teams plays. There's that battle. There's the linebacker battle of Pace and Adams. How Tyron Ingram, Dawkins will play. But my point being, besides the quarterback battle, I think the running back, how good Claiborne can break it, just because that speed alone, adds so much exciting to a skill position. We see what Gibbs does and we're not saying he's going to be Gibbs, but how impactful and lethal and like how good that is to have in an offense a speed burning run back that can break it. If a linebacker takes the wrong gap and doesn't fill his gap properly and that running back's gone, it's unforgiving. Gibbs can be gone for 80 yards. It could be a kickoff, touchback, 1 run, linebacker makes a mistake. You have one of your two safeties playing lower in the box, and the safety playing center field can't catch up to a speed running back in like Gibbs or
Yeah.
say in this case Claiborne. He bounces it, and they just get the edge outside because they got that breakaway speed, and then it's gone.
I gotta say, this is probably the most interesting preseason in a long time. You have right now the quarterback battle is done. You named your starter, but KOC did also say in his presser they're both playing here on Saturday against the Giants, and we both knew that. I was talking about that before you joined, Trev. I don't even know if Carson Wentz plays, maybe a quarter. I don't know if he does. I think Brosmer gets the third and fourth quarter because that's what they did all of last preseason. I
I've
think
flipped.
Kyler
I
gets.
think you flip that because you're going to want to hide Brosmer on the practice squad. If Brosmer continues
Yeah,
to have more success, I want
that's
Brosmer
actually
playing, being
true.
like
Yeah.
me being a Gopher fan, and then me believing in Brosmer as a very like under the radar guy. Under the
Mhm,
radar guy. Not saying that Brosmer is a guy that I ever want to really see starting because if Brosmer
mhm.
is going to be
Well, yeah.
especially this year,
Right.
if we're down our top three running back or not running backs quarterbacks,
Yeah.
it'd be fun watching Brosmer play, but at the same time, we're in desperate and
But
bad
either way,
that
you're
spot.
saying don't
So
let him
my
show
my
his
point being
talent.
is, I think Wentz
Yeah.
came back for a reason. I think they told him like you are not to say 100%, but we fully expect you to be the quarterback three.
Mhm.
Murray and McCarthy will battle out for number 1 and 2 roles, which now that's official. So Murray 1, McCarthy 2. And I think Wentz was probably told early on, because for people that forget, Wentz signed very early in the free agency phase. They got that deal
Mhm.
done pretty quickly, which was
Yep.
a surprise at the time of why wouldn't you maybe look at some other options, maybe a
Mhm.
younger guy. Anyways, so point being, I think you play Wentz just because it's the safe blanket. He knows the offense. You don't get cute with it. And then that
Yep.
lets you, like, Brosmer will play, but it'll be real minimal because I think the Vikings are going to want to hide Brosmer in that practice squad because he had a very impressive rookie
Yeah, you
season
just
this
don't
season.
want other teams to see the talent because
Yeah,
you have good internal talent for a fourth string QB.
right.
Yeah, and I actually didn't think about that kind of side of it because the main point with the whole preseason thing is JJ. I think probably gets the entire second quarter, and depending, maybe Kyler does get the whole first quarter just because he did. This is one training camp, very complex offense. Maybe he gets the first quarter against the Giants. He wouldn't do that in those second two games, but realistically, maybe like 2 or 3 drives probably, and then JJ takes over the full first half. I think between Wentz, Brosmer, third and fourth quarter, or maybe it is Wentz for most of the second half. But there's just so many position battles because you actually did something in this draft that's worth looking at, and guys that I think we all have a lot of high upside on, like Chuck Demings in the secondary. He's having an insanely good camp. Jake Golday is a stud in the making from all that we've seen. Dominique Orange is going to get time there. Like, there's
Especially
a
when you
lot of
play
guys.
Detroit. But
Yes.
I get you're talking preseason, but like Orange, get because in preseason, these guys are
Hmm.
all going to play, but like
Yeah.
Orange for Detroit games alone could be the most impactful rookie out of all of our rookies. If
Yes.
you can contain Gibbs and now Pacheco, who's first year in Detroit, but yeah,
He
to your
actually
point, I
just
mean,
he
it's
just got
it's
injured
just
too.
impact at every position for
Yeah.
each rookie. I mean, we haven't
Yeah.
had this excitement for a while, and we're not used to it.
One we've talked about it, not a lot, is the safety room. All of the safeties are going to play in preseason for how much I don't know. And then a UDFA pickup, Jacob Thomas out of James Madison. He played every single position except the defensive line for James Madison last year. He was the cornerstone of that defense. He's a stud. Okay,
Playoff team JMU, like
yes,
very, very,
exactly.
very good JMU. Like who
So
had
true. Yep.
JMU making the college football playoff? Was the game
No.
close? No, but like exactly. Yeah, what it wasn't close, but I mean
Dude,
that
they
in
put up like
itself,
35 against Oregon. Yes, they let up 50, but like like
that
the
is true.
offense
Yeah, I
actually,
completely
yeah.
forgot about that. I just remember it not being close, but yeah, it's not like they didn't
Yeah.
score either. Yeah,
They fought. We'll give them that. But either way, like the safety room, Jay Ward's gonna play. I don't know how long, but Theo Jackson, he's gonna play. There's a lot, and then Jacoby Thomas, third round pick, he's gonna play. I this entire preseason, there's a lot of names out there, and I can't wait to start watching, especially at joint practices that Trevor and I will be at. And yeah, the preseason games, it's going to be a heck of a time.
It's funny. I see. I'm going to give you 4. So on Bleacher Report, they made a post. What JJ McCarthy's NFL future would be. Here's the 4 obvious ones. So Vikings backup, Vikings quarterback 1 for another team, and the 4th final option, journeyman backup. 23% said Vikings backup, 54% was Vikings, or sorry, 23% Vikings backup, 54% was a journeyman backup, 8% for quarterback 1 for the Vikings, and then 15% on
not surprised
on quarterback 1 for another team. So that just furthers my point. And I get majority of people don't follow the team anywhere to the limits we do, or even other Viking hardcore fans, or just like psycho NFL fans that follow a little bit of everything. But it's just 8% where you're giving up on a quarterback, yes, with technically 2 years of NFL experience, but only 1 year of playing. And then, the injury concern is obviously the biggest counter argument. I mean, if you can't stay healthy in any sport, no matter how good or not good you are, it's just not going to last, and the team can't hold on to injury-prone players forever. So you hope that McCarthy can avoid the injuries moving forward here, and you want to see if he'll pin out or if he'll just truly be a bust. But I truly, truly believe that if he can just stay healthy, we've seen enough there, and then it's just, can you do it on a consistent basis? I just love that it's 8%. There's only 8% that
I honestly probably would have expected lower, but just because of the national perspective.
No
but
kidding.
Either way, yeah. All right, last thing we're gonna do is just gonna talk about the offensive weapons here. What is a realistic stat line for Justin Jefferson now that we actually have the quarterback now? And the offense, they're gonna let loose in the pass game. I think with Kyler Murray, in my opinion, I think this is a year of Justin Jefferson. If these guys stay healthy, I think he needs, and I think it's very realistic that he has a year over 1,300 receiving yards.
He's running the ball.
And I think at least 8 touchdowns for Justin Jefferson. You need to feed the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. You need to. I think that's pretty realistic, and I think it's much needed for the team.
Yeah, his best year, 2022, just over 1,800 at 1,809 with 8 touchdowns. Even 21, he went, it's kind of cool looking, 16, so 1,616. Even in the year of everyone played quarterback, he obviously just went, 23 went for 1,074, but then last year with the quarterback mess of a situation, just over 1,048. But the most annoying stat is 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
2 whopping touchdowns in 17 games. That's the biggest concern. That can't happen. That number anywhere close to 2, 4, 5 touchdowns. This guy, if you exclude that year, he did only have 5 touchdowns in 23, but 24, 10 touchdowns, 22, 8 touchdowns, 21 was 10 in rookie year. He had 7. And if I remember in that rookie year, he didn't really start playing full-time till week 4.
No, it was week 3 against the Titans.
Week 3? Okay, I just knew it was a couple weeks where he wasn't playing, but
the bare minimum for a season, I mean, you can see it right here. 2021 with a full season of Kirk, 10 touchdowns. 2022, 8 touchdowns. 2023, he only played 10 games and also had Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs throwing him the ball that year. He only had 5 touchdowns that year.
Not to cut off, but the Josh Dobbs thing. So if people say Murray struggles a little bit to start the year, and to Josh Dobbs' credit, he was an insanely smart dude. Brilliant, I would hear. Brilliant and very, very, very smart dude. Given that dude in the Miracle game when he came in with no, did he even have practice or half a weeks of practice, whatever it was?
He had walked.
How efficient it was. So that's kind of my point. It's the offense has too much talent. You got KOC, as your mentor, leader.
Oh, you're
So
saying if Josh
Murray,
Dobbs can do this with one walkthrough,
yeah,
Kyler
like
should be able to sliver
Murray's
it.
struggles should be like average play at worst.
Exactly. Yeah, completely agree. Either way, then he had the Sam Darnold year, a full year of a quarterback, had 10 touchdowns. There's no reason in hell if Kyler Murray stays healthy that JJ should have no less than 8 touchdowns this season. He needs to if this team wants to compete in the playoffs. Based on that fact, would you say 1,300 yards is probably a good mark to aim for? Because also you still have 2 phenomenal wide receivers right behind him too, so you're going to be spreading the ball around. So I think 1,300 yards is a pretty fair mark for Justin.
I would probably lean just a tad over that. But I
Yeah.
get your perspective because there's only one football and there's so many people to feed the
Mhm.
football to.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not even talking rushing, right? Yeah. So you got also Addison, you got Jennings, and you got your top 2 times of more
Mhm.
so Hawkinson, but Oliver here and there can be a sneaky kind of balanced tight end. Obviously, you're going to get the plus blocking with Oliver, but
Yep.
ever since he's joined Minnesota, he's kind of shown, especially in games when Hawkinson's out with injury, that Oliver. But yeah, I mean, one
Mhm.
football, so it's going to be hard doing it all, but just also seeing the best of the best Jefferson, right? His career best year so far, 1,809 yards in 2022.
Mhm.
I'd maybe be between 14 and 1,500. But
The other
I
thing
think
too
13.
is
13's
Justin.
realistic.
Yes, Justin has gotten double and triple teamed heavily over the past 2 years. That you can't ignore that. And the guy that's benefited the most off of it is Jordan Addison, which Jordan Addison, his first 2 years, had 19 touchdowns total. And I'm pretty sure in 2023, before Kirk's Achilles injury, he threw 8 of Jordan Addison's touchdowns. He had 2 against the Niners on Monday Night Football there. And he had 2 against the Green Bay Packers earlier in that year when Kirk was slinging the rock. He had 10 touchdowns that year, 9 touchdowns in 2024 with Darnold. Jordan Addison could be looking at a huge year in the scoring department because, well, history shows here when Justin's getting double teamed and being put in a shell, Jordan Addison is the main accomplice with this, and he's doing everything he can to be Justin's kind of. I mean, this sounds cheesy and cliche. I get it, but like his lightning rod, because when Jordan is having a good game, it's going to benefit Justin Jefferson immensely. And then
First
you
off,
had Jawan Jennings on there too.
yeah. First
Yeah.
off, you can no longer say the word cheesy on this podcast, my friend.
Oh
That
boy.
is not allowed. No, not allowed. That will not happen again. But yeah, to your
Boy.
point, if Addison, to get back on topic, Addison's rookie year was his best year with 911 yards, and then
Mhm.
817 and 610. You're gonna make life a whole lot easier on Jefferson if Addison, and then or Addison and Jennings, but more so Addison, just because Addison will should and almost certainly will get more snaps, especially when you're going to run more um, an extra tight end or two, or Bredesen's going to be in the game. So when you're
Yeah.
going to be going to a receiver sets with 2 tight ends or tight end, fullback, running back, um, if
Mhm.
Addison can go for 11-ish 100 yards, 1,200 in a really good year, like if everything's clicking, Murray's playing out of his mind, because then you can't either you got to pick one of the two, and either Addison's going to continue to feast. It reminds me a lot of Addison has to pull George Pickens, right? Because you got C.D. Lamb and Jefferson, and then you got George Pickens, who's the Addison. If Addison can do what George Pickens did, which is that what you're looking up right now?
No, no,
I
you
just
keep going.
remember Pickens. I can look it up too.
Mhm.
Obviously C.D. Lamb is time, and C.D. or Pickens played really well when C.D. Lamb was out. That's almost the way I gotta see it. It's you want consistent,
Mhm.
reliable, solid games because teams can only play that kind of coverage on Jefferson for so long. And then at a point, then you're just handicapped. Like the opponent's defense is just handicapping themselves because they're over focusing on Jefferson and not trusting their corner or or maybe a simple double coverage where corners
Yeah.
kind of playing more of the underneath, and then safety's got anything over the top.
So what I was looking up is I needed to look again at Kyler's stats. So Kyler's never been a 4,000-yard passer, but mostly because he's also rushing a lot, and he's a dual threat down there. My thing here is I would expect that Jordan, like Addison, to have another 900-yard season. I want him to hit that 1,000-yard season, but like realistically, when you have the best receiver in the game and then also Juwan Jennings, I just don't think there's enough there. And also a rushing game with a revamped offensive line that KOC is claiming right now that he's going to set the tone with more often. I think Addison is just set for another not like a really good 900-yard year where he's going to catch 8 or 10 touchdowns again and score and be a main contributor, because you also have Juwan Jennings there that is probably going to tally hopefully above 700 yards for him too. I don't know Juwan's stats. I'm not going to pull him up, but Juwan Jennings should easily catch 700, 600 or more yards in this season, you know? I mean, he is a wide receiver 2 on 80% of NFL teams, and we have him as a wide receiver 3. But my main thing here is Kyler Murray's never been a 4,000-yard passer because that's just not fully his game. He can do it. I think if there was going to be a year to do it, it's this year. But there's just not enough there's just not enough to go around. If we're expecting 1,300 yards out of Jefferson and then 1,000 out of Jordan, that's 23 right now, and then another 700 out of Jennings, you're already up to 3,000 there. And then you got running backs are both going to get like 200, 250 on screen passes, tight ends.
So yeah, 4,000 is not going to cut it. We're going for 5,000.
Yeah, MVP numbers, Kyler. But yeah, I mean, you just add it up, and it's just there's not enough bread to go around
for one football for sure. Yeah, the last 2 years, so Jennings has played 5 years. The first 3, he played, but nothing to the playing time he's got the last 2 years with San Francisco. So in 2024, in 15 games, he had 975 yards to 6 touchdowns. And then 2025, 15 games as well, 643 with 9 touchdowns. So yeah, kind of to your point. So if Jefferson's say 1,400, Addison 1,000, that's 2,400 right there. And then if Jennings can go for 800, you're looking a little over 3,000. What is that? 3,200 roughly. And that's your top 3 receiving targets. And then obviously, yeah, to your point, you got to account for your top 2 tight ends of Hawks and Oliver. Mason really doesn't do a whole lot of pass catching. He'll get a catch here and there, but for minimal. But Aaron Jones, nothing what he used to be, but he can do it too if Jones can stay
a great
healthy
pass
for
catcher.
For the most part, too, which Jones is another guy between battling injuries and just being up there in age.
Yep.
But yeah, that would be a perfect world where Kyler Murray's having a heck of a year.
And I did want to note TJ Hawkinson. So what is last thing here? This is our last thing. What is your confidence level with TJ going into the year? Because he just, after the big injury from Kirby Joseph on the Christmas Day or the whiteout game a couple years ago, TJ has not been the same.
Yeah, because the last 2 years
he's running.
Yeah, because the last 2 years, 455 yards, no touchdowns. Last year, 438, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and it's not even that. I mean, it's really been since really the year we even kind of traded for him. 23 was a good year. Anyways, question, just kind of a good realistic year for him, you're saying?
Well, just like what's the expectations? I feel like with Kyler, hopefully if he stays healthy, 500-yard season, I'm happy.
That's what I was going to say. Just given
4
that
or 5 touchdowns, yeah.
He's not young anymore.
Yeah.
The injury history, what he's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
He's also in a contract year, so it's kind of his final prove-it year to get, I'm not going to say another big payday by any means, but a decent payday.
A multi-year deal.
I'm thinking he'll probably get a 2-year, but a fair, I can't think of a number. I can't really think of the tight end market right now. But my point being 2-3 years backs where he's getting paid. Middle, whatever kind of your average tight end market is. So nothing top of the league tight end money, but he's also not going to get an underpay, if that makes sense. Like he's not going to take a friendly salary with whoever he goes with. So 500 yards, handful of touchdowns, 3 or 4. I'd call that good.
It also, the way he trends, this offense seems to be better when he's getting more touches, because obviously 2022 with the Vikings, we acquired him week 7 or whatever it was. We got him 60 receptions in, I think, 9 games. He was basically the biggest target down the stretch there for Kirk Cousins in 2022. Obviously, check
Yeah,
down in the
yeah,
playoffs.
yeah.
But
That happened. But yeah, 10 games, 60 catches with
yeah,
3 touchdowns.
but the biggest mark is that whole year with him, the Lions and the Vikings total, he had 129 targets. And then the next year, 2023, only played the 15 games, obviously, because week 16 was the injury, or week 15, whatever it was. He was targeted 127 times in that season, 95 catches, almost 1,000-yard season for him. And that
Mhm.
offense was the one with Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, Kirk Cousins, quarterback controversy everywhere. And then in 2024, he also was targeted 62 times in only 10 games. But that's when you started to realize him coming off of the injury, like it's not really the same. But if the Vikings and a KOC, if they can find a sneaky way to get TJ Hawkinson involved a lot, I have faith that he can still be a good pass catcher and get some yards after the catch and make do with what he's got here and be a big contributor. But it's just, again, there's too many options. And it's like, I want to commit to getting him the ball more, but how can you do that when most of the time you're going to be running 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers on the field? It's a game of, I don't even know what it is. It's just, you got too many people, too many great
Yeah, it's
options. So,
for one football, yeah. So realistically, someone's gonna have a down year, but if the other 3 out of the 4, so I'm taking your obvious 3 type receivers, and then Hawkinson, who's always been a vertical, or not vertical, a receiving tight end. Um,
mhm,
Realistically, just given the fact that it's gonna be really hard to even out the football and everyone get their fair share of touches and
yeah.
production. So if 3 of the 4 hit, and it's not a knock on the guy that doesn't, whoever that is has a down year. If 3 of the 4 are
Mhm.
clicking, I still think you're gonna have a very productive year, and that's obviously the best problem a team can have. Too many good options. They'll take that every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I had to talk about. We got to wrap this up. One little note: the Rockies just DFA'd old friend Edward Julian. I thought I'd mention that.
So sad.
Oh boy, yeah.
Who was he
Also,
hitting? Any idea?
he's hitting 208,
So
208
not
in
like
88 games this year. No, that, I
as
mean,
dumb as this sounds. 208. Sorry, how many homers?
3.
Okay. Well, so 3 not going to cut it in Colorado.
Well, we
Uh,
DFA'd him when he was hitting 220 for us, and then he hits 208 for the Rockies. So
yeah.
that ain't great.
I completely forgot. I was going to say it doesn't matter. It said with Julian. Never
Either
mind.
way, yeah. Don't need to waste our breath. Either way, tomorrow, some of this like trade deadline fallout in the MLB, all the news. Dan Hayes, he kind of wrote a story about the Twins were really in on Reed. I'm completely forgetting his last name. On the Angels, the starting pitcher, Reed.
Oh, Detmers or
Yeah,
that?
Detmers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Soriano and Zach Neto, the Twins were in talks with a lot of the Angels' top players there. And now, like, the fallout of the trade deadline is kind of seeing what the Twins were offering, because now that information's out. That's going to be our episode for tomorrow, barring any other breaking news from the Vikings. Hopefully, someone doesn't tear their ACL in the
You know,
next day or so.
JJ
But
McCarthy has stolen quarterback 1 from Kyler Murray
KOC cannot make up
after
his
Murray
mind.
throws 6 interceptions in practice.
Oh, boy. All right. Just needed to mention that because it's fun looking at it every year from the trade deadline. Twins
Yeah.
lose game 2. We're going to come back today and take game 3 and head into a very, very tough part of the schedule, which we've gone over before. But anyway, people, Vikings, Kyler Murray is the Vikings QB1 announced yesterday. There's our reaction. There's our thoughts about it. But what I think all of you guys should do, if you haven't already, go to the YouTube, subscribe, Instagram, TikTok, post shorts over there, and then the Spotify. We post our visual, or well, our audio audience there. Also, click the bell icon on the YouTube. Make sure you are notified when we upload. Everyone, have a great rest of the week, and we will see you tomorrow.